Barstool Rundown, Wednesday, March 8th, International Women's Day. I mean, I think this is the right panel for that, right? Dante to Don, Jeff Nadu here. Happy International Women's Day, fellas.
This is the best panel we could have for that. I mean, Dante's the biggest Don in Chicago, and you know who I am. So, I mean, perfect panel here.
I thought what was great was originally this was supposed to be Dante, Nate, and myself. And John Rich just straight told me last night, he's like, Nate knows nothing about women. We got to get him off the panel. Got to bring on Jeff Nadu. And I'm like, John Rich, I feel like that's the shots fired. But hey, man, you got to do what you got to do. You're the producer.
Well, I feel like I'm a major upgrade over that little rat. So thank God.
Oh, we're off and running. First of all, I feel great. My first ever rundown. I'm with two made men, so I appreciate you guys jumping out with me and not bailing out when you found out the new guy was on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how you do hosting. You've done a good job so far. I didn't even know it was International Women's Day, so thank you for teaching me that.
It's like, near and dear.
It's like your Christmas, Nadu.
Yeah, I got to call all the women of my life and tell them how great they are, and it's empowering day for you. I'll do it later after this.
Showering them with gifts today, no?
Yeah, Valentine's Day just passed too, so I'm hitting in the wallet pretty hard. But that's not the key to women, man. You got to treat them well, but you don't want to be a sucker and just get used. You got to know.
Amen. We talked about this at our dinner.
Yes.
We should have filmed that fucking dinner, by the way.
That was quite the meal, man. Listen, Will, let me tell you something about Dante the Don, man. This fucking guy, man, it was like I was John Gotti walking into Rayo's, man. This guy, it's like Henry Hill in Goodfellas. Like a table pops up, he knows the owner. We get like a special menu, everything. It was dope. It was like,
I was with you. I called ahead and said, "Yo, I'm bringing a big shot in tonight. Make it look good."
It was Valentine's Day too. Like they just pop a table up out of nowhere. I'm like, "Yo, do you really think we should go here? Like it's Valentine's Day. Probably ain't gonna get in." He's like, "Bro, trust me.
That's my guy. Volare is my number one Italian spot in Chicago. They take great care of me, but that's the spot. I had to bring you there. I wasn't gonna bring you to have bar food on Valentine's Day. I posted that of all the broads you could have been with on Valentine's Day dinner, you were with me. I was honored.
This is the best two people, Will, for your first host. You and Dante.
I love it, and that's not just the only city where Dante does that. By the way, we went out in Cleveland last time he was here, and he was like, "Where do you want to go?" I throw a spot out, whatever. Oh, I've never been there. We get to the second place to have a cocktail, and like people are walking over, shaking his hand, like he sold the place to him. Yeah, he knows everybody everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's just not. And the guy eats more food than I've ever seen anybody eat, and somehow he's still skinny. I don't understand how he does that.
That's what he did with me, man. He ordered like 6, 7 different things, and he's just boom, 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 boom. I gain weight. He don't.
I love to eat. Eating's like my favorite thing in the world, and the only way I can do it and not look enormous is running. So I force myself to like to run. So I run all the time.
Yeah, me too. I'm still a fat piece of shit. Either way, but yeah.
Oh,
guys, don't flatter me on International Women's Day.
Let's get into this shit.
All right, let's do it. First up, NFL free agency continues on. We're going to start with Daniel Jones. He signed a contract extension with the Giants, 4 years, $160 million. I think this was literally yesterday, right after the rundown. That's a lot of money for a guy
who threw 15 TDs. He threw 15 TDs last season. What am I missing here?
It's a shitty QB market. It's a shitty QB market, right? I mean, it feels that way.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I think I did a show earlier, and a host kind of told me 39 different quarterbacks threw a pass last year in the NFL. I mean, that's a lot of different players. That's a lot of different quarterbacks. It's hard to hit on a quarterback. It just is. I mean, that's one of the reasons that the Saints gave Derek Carr such high levels of money. Will's right. It's a bad market. Daniel Jones always has turnover problems, but it was that 1 year of gleaming hope. Maybe he's what we thought he was coming out of Duke. And I think they're trying to sell themselves that they finally have an heir apparent to Eli Manning, which seems like years ago. That's the market. Just is what it is.
He's not that guy, though, right? I mean, I think we can all agree. I mean, look, Clem can sell himself on the blog all he wants. He's not that guy. But the Giants did do all right in the way they structured the contract. It's only really 2 years on the hook for the money. And you think, wow, it's insane, $40+ million for Daniel Jones. But for 2 years, and then you could be back in the market if it doesn't work out. not the worst thing in the world, especially when you got
Eagles,
guys like Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I mean, look at the Eagles, how much money
they
they're
did
going to
this
have
with
to pay.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
They gave him a ton of money and then draft a quarterback. I think they knew deep down, but hey, we're just throw money at it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. It's only money. And yeah, I think we all know. I mean, outside of New York, we're not going to try to sell the bill of goods that he's this great quarterback, but that's the market, man. There's not a lot of good quarterbacks out there.
I think they're basically going all in on the fact that Daboll hit it off with this kid immediately, brought out the best in him. I mean, there were games last year where he looked phenomenal. Let's not lie. He showed flashes of eliteness, but how many times are you going to get that out of him in a 17-game schedule? And also, now that he's basically set for life, is he going to be one of these guys that goes off a cliff? That's one of those things. I mean, this can set the franchise back. I feel like the Giants have eaten shit for so long and are finally coming out of this mess that who was their old GM, worst GM fucking ever that left a few years ago? Yeah, I feel like they finally got out of the mess that he made. And this could be an albatross that sinks them or could take them to the next level. So I don't know. It's definitely risky.
What they need to do is
I love Daboll though, so I'm actually rooting for this to work out for them as much as I hate the Giants.
They need to do what I think other teams have learned with a young quarterback. They need to go out and give the kid some weapons. You know, look, the truth of the matter is, I mean, their receiver core is not good enough. And look at what this does to a quarterback. Look at Josh Allen. You get him to Stephon Diggs, he takes it to the next level. You get Jalen Hurts, an A.J. Brown, takes him to the next level. I mean, you got to go out and they need to hit on a very good receiver. They need to give the kid some help. And I think there were flashes. I mean, we saw him twice. We see him twice every year. They made the playoffs. It was a tough NFC East. I was, albeit they got crushed, but you got to give the kid some weapons. And I think that's what they're thinking of. And I think that's a great point by Dante with Daboll and the connection they earned and had.
How do you think Saquon feels about this, though? Danny Dimes gets his deal. Saquon gets tagged. I mean, that is a weapon. You're supposed to have weapons around him. Now, all of a sudden, I mean, are you happy? No one wants to be tagged in the NFL. Everybody's pissed off when they get tagged. Even if they don't say it publicly, they're pissed off about it.
Yeah, because it kind of tells you, hey, we like you, but we don't love you. And this is Lamar Jackson's problem. They tag him and they're saying, well, we like you, but we kind of let you do what you want. You go flirt with other teams. We don't care. But we don't want to put our eggs in your basket yet. It kind of shows that they're not real set and they kind of want to go maybe somewhere else. So, yeah, I think end of the day, you're always going to be annoyed and you want the deal. I don't know. Saquon, I don't know much about him personally as far as how he is, how he reacts. This would probably set a lot of people off, but he'll get his, I'm sure.
So I'm looking at the total cash for quarterbacks this upcoming season. Daniel Jones now has the third most cash he's going to get paid this next season. Aaron Jones 1, Deshaun Watson 2, Daniel Jones 3, Patrick Mahomes 4, Kyler Murray 5, Lamar 6. Where in that? I mean, is he even? I don't know. Do you rank him as a top 12 quarterback in the NFL? And he's getting paid top 3 money.
I think he's kind of middle of the pack. I put him kind of in the Derek Carr kind of group,
same. I just think this is where these deals are trending now, where the guaranteed money is becoming make or break for.
You're welcome for that.
A lot of these players.
We fucked that all up in Cleveland.
Well, that's what I was going to say. This Lamar Jackson debacle is all thanks to fucking Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they fucked up the market for everybody now.
Hey, if everything's going to be fucked for us every year, we're taking everybody else down with us. You better be rich and you better be willing to roll the dice if you want your quarterback around.
You and I have talked about this off the record, but maybe you can explain to the average, fan, where are the Browns coming up with this money? Because this salary money and this guaranteed money, you can't finance, you can't defer. Like
no.
This is cash. Like, owners have to have this cash. Where the fuck is this coming from?
Well, Jimmy Haslam's already worth, I think he was worth like $8 billion when he bought the team. And then he just sold part of Pilot Flying J to Berkshire Hathaway. And then they have a deal in place to purchase more of that company coming up. So he's going to be even more flush with cap. I mean, he just bought into the Bucks And people are like, oh, you know, it's only 25% of the Milwaukee Bucks, but he worked out some janky ass deal where he actually gets 5-year rotating control over the team. And that dude is a mobster through and through. I mean, you should study him, Nadu. The guy, literally, he's going to get his 5-year rotating control over that team. He's never going to let that go. Not in a million years. So I don't know what they were thinking signing that deal, but this guy's flushed with cash. He's not worried about it. And I think he just like dropped his nuts on the table and said, we need a quarterback by any means necessary, obviously. And they rolled the dice on him.
I will say NFL.com had Daniel Jones 18th in their quarterback rankings, which, you know, is kind of right below the Lamars and the Kirk Cousins and the Kylers. So, yeah, a good quarterback, a serviceable quarterback. Is he worth this amount of money? No. But, again, it's a different market. So
bonkers.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Bonkers.
It's crazy. Speaking of bonkers, nobody wants Lamar Jackson, it seems, right? Field Yates reported that the Falcons, Dolphins, Panthers, Commanders, Raiders, all out on Lamar Jackson. And you got the word collusion being thrown around all over Twitter on this thing.
Real quick, Lamar Jackson, the only thing I'll say on this, I'm not a fan of his. He can't throw the football. I think that's become abundantly clear. It's not a great
outrageous claim.
He can.
Throws laser beams. What are you talking about?
Right. That's
he might be inconsistent, but trust me, as someone who has to see him twice a year, the guy
I guess the better thing is he is an inconsistent passer. Let's just say that.
But he's so electric with his legs when he's
he needs to fire his mom. Yeah. Why is your mom your agent? Cut it off. Family and business don't work. I love my mom, but you know, it's not. You got to surround yourself with powerful people because you're dealing with powerful people that are going to do what they can to exploit you and take money from you. You need other people that are going to come in and command on your behalf and are professional what they're doing. I'm not saying his mother isn't, but I think it's a bad decision. He needs to go elsewhere with that.
But this goes back to the Watson deal, where would you not put Jackson on the same level as Watson? Given their performance history, given their albeit upside, and given their
Lamar's more of a sure thing than Watson, though, after sitting out all those games and with all the baggage you brought to the table, especially now that we saw 6 games.
But the knock on Jackson is his injury proneness. And I don't think that he's inconsistent. I think he has trouble staying consistently on the field. I think that's the only downside on him. And you know, that's obviously because of the risks he takes, you know, in the way he plays the game. But I mean, I love the kid. I was not big on him coming out of college. He's blown me away. I love his attitude. I think he's a great person. I think he's fucking a superstar. And I would do anything for the Patriots to get him. Anything.
Keep in mind, I just want to make this clear. Okay. When we're talking about as a quarterback, I don't think he's ever had a QBR above 80 in his career. He also has never had above a 65% completion percentage in any year of his career. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback, but there are things lacking in his abilities. That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I think if Dante, if the Patriots were able to get him, they would turn him into the biggest thing in the NFL. That's just how it works in New England. It'd be the exact opposite if he went to a place like the Commanders won't do it because of the whole shit going on with Daniel Snyder, even though that would be a good fit for him, but they would destroy him. He'd be hurt within the first season. That would be a disaster. If he went to New England, that's the exact type of organization that would make him a superstar, keep him healthy for a couple of years and get the most out of him.
Absolutely. And I think that goes back to my Dave-O point. The thing that I love about him is he's one of those coaches, obviously learned from the best. Belichick takes what he has and brings out the best in his players, rather than trying to jam, you know, a square peg in a round hole and make players fit into, you know, what he wants to make them do. You know, it's vice versa. And I think that they would definitely do that by, you know, developing a system around him, which not to say, you know, Harbaugh is the worst coach in the world, but I said it all last season. That guy cost the Ravens so many fucking wins last year, leaving points on the board, terrible fucking decisions, to go for it when they should have kicked 3, to kick 3 when they should have went for it. Just horrible clock management. I mean, he really, really, you know, cost that team last season.
You're gonna have the analytics guys up your dick after that one. They love them.
I mean, it's eye test. You can read all the stats you want to me. I watched those games. just mind-boggling decisions on his part.
I mean, I do agree with that. I think, look, Lamar's going to probably end up back in Baltimore. Is there any juice to the collusion thing? You think at the owners' meetings, these guys were like, hey, no one give them the guaranteed money. We'll figure it out from there.
100%. The league is worse than the baseball owners in terms of, the MLB, you have the strongest players union, arguably in the world, strongest union with the most power in the world. NFL, the players union is a joke. The owners have all the power. What they say goes. The players are kind of at their mercy. Like this franchise tag shit that we just talked about, everyone hates. Players have like no say over. It's basically like, no, you're going to stay here whether you like it or not. And you're going to make what, the market says you're going to make.
Which they set.
Exactly. It's it's pretty fucked up. And I don't see a situation where Jackson goes back this year and things aren't completely toxic in that locker room.
I would think so too. By the way, the NFL owners are like every caricature of an evil billionaire is like the entire group of NFL owners, all of them. I know some people like the owner from their city. Like, no, we have the good one. No, you don't. They're all pieces of shit. That's how they got to where they're at. That's why they're playing chess with human beings, making them smash into each other like Tonka trucks to satisfy. Hey, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I get it. I'm just saying those are not good people. That is a room full of people that want to do everything for themselves. They don't give a shit about the players.
Amen.
Robert Saleh on the Jets. Front office flew to Malibu to meet with Aaron Rodgers. That's going to get done. Are we going to see Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform?
All I'm saying is, if we go over every NFL topic, we're going to be here forever, Will Burge.
All right, well then, fuck it. We can move on. I don't give a shit about it.
I'm just kidding. Real quick, I think he stays on the West Coast. He has to, right? I mean, he has a ton of money. Are you really going to take $5-10 more just to want to go to New York and play? You want to play in California or Vegas or something like that?
Go to Vegas, dude. Go
100%.
Reunite with Dante. Tear it up. That team, that division is not as good as everyone thought it was going to be. That team can make some serious noise. They got a home Super Bowl this year. I mean, there's a chance for that. I mean, that's way more upside than going to the fucking disaster.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I agree with you. If he wants out, that's the place to go. All right. We need to talk about it because Nadu's on here, and it is March Madness time, tournament time. The conference tournaments are underway. 11 teams already secured bids. Last night, guys, I got double cucked last night. I'm a Cleveland State alumni, and so they got knocked off by Western Kentucky last night, which, by the way, I pulled up
Northern
their coach's
Kentucky.
name. Northern Kentucky, excuse me. Who's their head coach's name? I can't think off the top of my head here.
Northern Kentucky's coach is Darren Horn.
That's insane that you know that. I don't know. That's crazy. But Darren Horn, so not only they beat Cleveland State in the Horizon League Championship last night, but like 3 weeks ago, right around Valentine's Day, he awkwardly hit on my chick for like 35 minutes while she was at work. To like, she couldn't escape. Even the players were uncomfortable with it. So this dude he's just out to get me. I'm just getting alphaed by this guy left and right. Bad night for me, man.
Yeah, he's definitely taken your cookies, man, a couple of times, it seems like.
He tried to Nadu me while my chick was at work, bro.
Hey, listen, he's a suave looking guy, I think. I forget what he looks like offhand, but I know he's got a good personality. I know that, but this is NKU, man. They do this every year. They play this weird zone, and they just kind of say to you, "Hey, make shots." And in these conferences, Horizon and these kind of groups, there are certain conferences where you throw a zone out and it really screws with you again night to night. And NKU, this is a weird conference. Someone always wins every year, and I think they've had 5 or 6 different teams that have won it over the last 8 years. The Norse, man, probably not the best team in this conference. But they definitely cucked you, bro.
Yeah, well, when you have a conference, there's no shooters in the conference, because if there were shooters, they would be at bigger schools. Because everybody just went for shooters.
No, exactly. I will also say, man, Northern Arizona, I know somebody blogged about this earlier. It's amazing to me. They're in a final tonight. Now they're going to play Montana State. They're, I think, 7-point dogs. So the thought is it's going to be difficult for them to win. But this is a wild story, man. They were like the 9 seed, I believe. They've just ridden the Cinderella kind of wave, and here they are with another shot at going to the NCAA tournament. Pretty crazy.
Who's looking worse right now, Sister Jean or John Rich in that picture from the Tungsten? If we can get a side by side of that up on the rundown.
Good question.
Because
now, I think now Dante, you're a Loyola. Dante went to Loyola.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I brought it up.
And I hate Sister Jean slander. She's 103 for God's sake.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
I think she looks good for her age.
Think about this, Will. I was saying this to Dante, I think, at one point. She was a young child during Prohibition. Think about that. That's crazy. That said, I think they got her in a bad look. I saw her on the jet. She actually looked normal. She didn't look like the Crypt Keeper like she did in that picture. John Rich looked horrible. That was a rough look for John. I love John, but he looked like
I do too. I have a question. When did it become okay for people to knock a centenarian?
I don't know. It's wild.
It's fucking crazy to me that if this was if that was your grandma, you would fucking fight people for talking shit about him. But it's 2023,
Dante. What's important now is if you can get these jokes off on Twitter and get your clout up. That's all that matters.
Yes. You got to show respect, man. She's a nun. She's from a Catholic Jesuit university. Dante, maybe you can answer this. I asked this to forget somebody at Barstool. Why doesn't she wear like the nun outfit? I've noticed she never.
That's a great question.
She kind of just say, you know what? I do what I want. I'm Sister Jean.
That's a great question because the priests and the brothers at school wore not habits, or that's what nuns wear. No, they wore the black and the collars. But that's a great question.
I always wondered that, but I agree with Will. You can't knock someone that's 103 years old. What we should start doing is saying, yo, how did you get to this point? I'm fascinated by these people. And I've always wanted to do a show, guys, where I only speak to people over the age of 90. And I just get to know, like, how did you live this long? How do you, like, what do you offer to young people? I don't think we give disrespect.
We treat the elderly horrible in this country.
Terrible. Terrible.
They have so much wisdom. Like the stories, my grandmother's 96. The stories she tells me about just things that and they've been through so much, man. It's sad because kids today don't realize what they've been through.
In this country, when you get old, we throw you away into a home and forget about you and wait for you to die. Everyone's like looks at them as a burden. In other countries, you go to other countries, Europe. You move your family back in with you. You take care of them. I mean, you're like, paying them back almost for raising you. In Asia, elderly people are like treated like royalty.
Yeah.
This is like what you just said is like, wise and.
Well, to be fair, old Asian people do look extremely wise. Look like a character out of a movie or something. So I understand.
And you ever notice here, we always do the dumbest things possible, right? Like we should probably value old people, and we just like, no, they're nuts. Like throw them in a home. We don't worry about it. It's like, no, like we should probably listen to what they have to say. Now I get there are people that are a little out there, but we should value them a little more. That's all I'm saying.
I want some IG health influencers that are like over 90 that just tell the truth about how like they just rip darts their entire life.
Like how did you get to be 98 years old?
Sister Jean, I did a blog on her a couple of years ago that someone asked her what her key is. And I believe she said every day she eats sausage and drinks a beer every day.
Big time Chicago vibes there.
I mean, that's Chicago fucking diet right there.
The Midwest is going to live forever, apparently.
Speaking of knowing everything, Nadu, you got a good 7 or 6 or 7 seed that I can draft for this Barstool bracket contest?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of go a little lower. I'll go 5. If you can grab St. Mary's, I think if they get the right matchup, I think they can go to the Final Four. I think they're that good. Yeah, absolutely. St. Mary's is really good. Again, for them, it's going to all be about draw. If you want to go a little bit deeper, let's say a 13 seed, Toledo is really interesting. If Toledo can find their way into the NCAA tournament, they're coming winning 14 straight. They can score with anybody in the country. We saw them in the Barstool Invitational. I think they're really good. They're very talented.
Maction's crazy though, man. You never know who's going to come out of there.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I'm going out on a limb and giving a team that hasn't even made the tourney. A team that has made the tourney, Furman. I think Furman's at another group. They're not going to get beat athletically. And I think that's the problem sometimes with like a Colgate or a team like that. They don't have the athletic ability to keep up with some of the higher end teams. Furman can run with any team in America and score with any team in America. Same with Toledo. So those would be a couple of deeper sleeper groups that I like.
Awesome.
By the way, that draft thing you're talking about, Dante, there's a million content people didn't make the list. I'm not on there. I don't get to be a part of the buskers or
Really?
whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, I'm not on there.
I sworn I saw your name on there.
No, I'm not on there. Nope. That's how I just fly under the radar here. I was surprised that John Ritchie remembered I worked at the goddamn company to ask me to do this. It tells you how many people weren't available today. Mike at security was like, "Nah, man, I got a lunch." I can't.
He actually is pretty interesting. I've talked to him. You should have him on.
Man, he's a fucking man.
I was bullshit. He actually almost threw me out of Rough and Rowdy on Friday night as I came around the barrier. He's like, "I don't know who the fuck you are. You got to get out of here." Yeah, he did not hesitate. He was going to get.
I will tell you, Will, they're him and Pat and Mike are the two more interesting people in Barstool. Very wild career, interesting lives, both of them.
Fucking great guys. I've been on the road with them a few times for some shows, and yeah, very quiet. And then once you get to talk to them and know like where they came from and shit they've seen some shit, man. I guess any NYPD officer.
Well, Mike used to be Hugh Hefner's bodyguard. A lot of people don't know that. He told that story when he came on my show.
I was going to say, I saw that clip from your show. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, and he was talking about how some guys banged some of the chicks and got canned for it or something like that, right?
Yeah, they got that wasn't good for them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty here. I know you've been waiting for this one. 4 Americans were kidnapped by the Mexican cartel. This topic's been everywhere. You've had a couple videos on. In fact, all of the information I know about this is legitimately just from you. I haven't read a single word anywhere else. So I'll let you kind of lead on this one, but I know this is up your alley.
Yeah, this is a story that's pretty incredible, really. And it's just 4 people, one of which was trying to get a tummy tuck. They couldn't afford to do it here. So they went, like many people, to a foreign country to do some medical tourism. And I'm kind of sad that this happened. I'm very sad this happened because I think with just a little research, these people would have thought twice about doing this. I've said, and I'll continue to say, the only places in Mexico you should go to are places you can fly into. Cancun, Tulum, Cabo. You should not be driving into Mexico, especially Matamoros, which is in one of the most dangerous states in Mexico. We have to understand these places are totally different than any city we have. When you go into Matamoros, every person goes through a checkpoint. And if you're not supposed to be there, you're going to be under a lot of scrutiny. The problem that I think people don't realize is these cities are not run by the police. They're not run by the government. They're run by a drug cartel, a depraved group whose goal is to send tons of narcotics into this country and run the city. And these people were mistaken for others. And it's screwed up and fucked up. And they just made a really glaring mistake. And now 4 families' lives are different forever. But this is business as usual. Their whole mantra there is shoot first, ask questions later. And I'm sure someone got disciplined for this, but this is what they do there. So it's not surprising.
I actually have lived between Southern California and here my whole life. And we used to drive down to Tijuana and everybody tells us how dumb it was. And it was crazy back then, but not as crazy as things are now. And it's obviously different over on that coast as well. But there was like, you just knew if you drive in, you stay with the group you're with, you do not get in any trouble with the police, and you don't ever end up anywhere near the locked dumpsters behind the clubs, because those are the places you don't want to end up in that country.
One other thing, and you're right, one other thing I will say is I think if you live in a border town and you go to these areas quite frequently, you're probably fine. But like if you're someone that's never done this, like you're from South Carolina and you drive hours to go into an area, you just have to understand that it's very dangerous. There's a reason they have level 4 security on these areas. They're not traveled places. You shouldn't go there. And this is just a really glaring mistake. But this is what these groups do. This is not surprising in any way. They do this all the time. So,
$2 billion Powerball winner buys a $25.5 million home in Hollywood Hills. 3-story home, has an infinity pool, outdoor kitchen, gym, wine cellar, movie theater, sauna, and I was living next door to the Jimmy Kimmel and Ariana Grande. I fucking love this guy. He's going to be broke in like 8 years, but he's going to go down the ball of flames and the neighborhood's going to hate him. I love everything about this dude. This is this would be me if I hit the lottery.
How's he going to be broke? That's like 2% of his fucking winnings. That's dropping the bucket.
Yes, maybe. But if he's making that type of purchase right out of the gate, he's not thinking financially sound the rest of the way through. And you
I think
already
he
know
gets after taxes. I think he makes like 500-600 million. I mean, you got to be really unbelievably irresponsible, I think, to even blow through that. But this is everybody. This is what we would all do. This kid's in his young 30s. I feel like he's literally hit a dream life. He will never have to work again. He will get to live in most high opulence, like Dave Portnoy. He's Dave Portnoy. He gets to live however he wants. But Dante and I were talking about this, and we were talking about this. He's being sued by this random guy that claims that he actually had the winning ticket. But the California department, the lottery department says, we don't investigate criminal activities. We consider this guy the winner. He gets his money. And
well, what he's claiming is that, like your buddy says he's going to the gas station to buy tickets, and he claims he told him, buy me $20 worth. Yeah. And if you win, pay me. And he claims
he calls the guy and says, hey, we won. Can I get my share?
Yeah, that's his case.
I mean, how do you even prove that unless you have a text message from the guy back to you saying like, hey, this is our ticket? Does that even stand up? I mean, good luck.
From what I read, one of the lawyers says that they're blown away this guy tried to bring this case, because it's like, and he said it wasn't even with this guy that won. It was like some guy called Reggie who he told to buy the ticket. We don't know if Reggie actually exists. Like,
Reggie,
what a weird, Does this guy just say, shut up, get away from me. Here's $1 million. Leave me alone. Like, does he just do that? Maybe. You got to try, I guess.
He just dropped 25.5 million on a house. So
yeah, maybe he just says, hey, here's $1 million. Just go away. Stop bothering me.
I want to get back to the guy who actually won, though, because I just have this vision in my head of him, like, because this dude is not going to be used to being up in the Hollywood Hills and the way people carry themselves. He has an outdoor kitchen. I'm just like picturing him like drinking a Miller High Life in his tighty whities, cooking a pizza in his pizza oven out there all drunk at like 4 p.m. He's got nothing else to do. Jimmy Kimmel just furiously mad next door because he can't go outside and use his infinity pool next to this asshole just moved in. I love every second of this. I wish there was a camera crew following this guy around. Then he would never go broke because he'd make all the money off the damn TV show.
What a beautiful, beautiful life, man. What a house. With just but the HOA in that area is crazy. They don't let you listen, if you're going to come up here, you behave, motherfucker. That's how it goes here. That's a different place.
That's true. That's very true. Dante, you ever partied in the Hollywood Hills?
Yes, I have. Not my scene.
Of course.
Not my scene either. I did not like it. But if this guy's
LA,
into drugs, he'll be just fine out there.
Yeah, I'm not into that stuff. So I like kind of sat in the corner and held my drink like a weirdo. But
let me ask you something, Don. If you won this, would you want people to? I wouldn't want anybody to know. I don't want to be this.
No,
like, why put your name
no.
out there? Like, that's crazy.
I don't know. Part of me thinks like, yeah, you'd want to go like Brewster's Millions and just blowing money like fucking crazy all over the place. But then, like you said, smart part of you says you don't want anyone to know any of that shit, because then you have everyone coming out of the woodwork. You might have people trying to like get at you. I don't know. It's difficult. One of my favorite moves ever was what Clooney did after he sold Casamigos and invited like 15 of his boys over for dinner. And when they sat down, there was a briefcase at each seat, and it was $1 million cash in each briefcase for each one of them. That's like one of the coolest fucking moves ever for someone that hit it rich in my book. Like, I would love to win the lottery and be able to do that for my boys.
My friends fucking suck, man. That would never happen.
I also don't know who the hell I'm kidding. I would definitely announce I won the lottery. You really think I would be quiet? Come on.
You'd be dancing in the living room?
Oh, dude.
Hitting them with the shimmy?
Man, I would. Could you imagine? I mean, even winning a couple million, you imagine winning $1 billion?
The problem is then you're a target for every chick who wants to pull a scheme on you, who's trying to set you up.
Yeah, but every chick's trying to do that, man. Every chick wants money and to be treated well.
And I feel like when you're at that level of money, you kind of know the quid pro quo. Like, you don't have to worry about getting taken because.
Plus, you're vetting with like other powerful people. So, like,
right.
You're getting into the right circles. You're not still like, you're moving around with. You can hire anyone you want to teach you how to do this too. Like,
right.
you know.
Topless maid paid over $2,000 a day to clean houses. This woman went viral on TikTok for revealing how much she makes working as a topless maid. Charges $300 an hour and cleans up to 5 houses a day. Usually receives tips ranging from $100 to $300. We'll start with you, Nadu. What are your thoughts on hiring a topless maid? Have you ever? Would you ever?
So I mentioned to you guys when this story was thrown into the topics, I mentioned I have a story about this. So in 2013, I moved into this very apartment. It was brand new. My mother says to me, hey, men can't clean. Get a cleaning woman, a maid. I said, that's a good idea. I don't want to clean. She can come every, do a nice deep clean. So at that time, Craigslist was very popular, right? You'd go on there, you try to sell a bike or a couch or get a service of sorts. So I go on Craigslist, I put an ad. Hey, reach out to me. Here's my email. First person that emails me, this very cool woman. I forget her name. I don't want to, even if I had it, I wouldn't put it out there. But she emails me. She says, hey, I have this, I have that. I have my own supplies. I can be there Monday. This was a Friday. I said, perfect. See you Monday. Here's my address. She gave me a price. It was a little high, but I said, you know what? Maybe she's my cleaning lady for the next decade. Who knows? So she comes that day. She comes in. Everything's perfect. I'm in this very office. I said, you know what? I can handle this office myself. Just clean the rest of the house. Within 5 minutes, this door right here, I get a knock on the door. I open the door, and she's topless at the door. I said, what are you doing? I said, what's going on here? She goes, well, I told you if you read the email, she says, I do everything. This is full service cleaning. And I said, hold on. I said, I'm just looking for a cleaning woman. I don't really need any of the nefarious stuff on the side. She goes, well, listen, she goes, don't worry about it. She goes, my husband's down in the car. He's okay with it. I said, yeah, I said, I'm looking really for a cleaning lady. I said, you're very beautiful. I said, but I'm going to have to, you to leave. I said, I think I gave her $50. I'm like, here you go. And she left. And I actually found another lady, and she's been my cleaning lady ever since. But yeah, it was a wild story, man.
This one's bottomless.
She looked good. Yeah, she looked good. I should have, but yeah, it was.
So that's crazy. She just didn't tell you right out of the gate, like, hey, this is the service I provide. It's not like a service you'd think you'd want to spring on a lot of people. Then again, she saw you. She's a ladies' man. She's like, all right, he's probably in for the full ride. I like this.
I mean, it was like 11 years ago. I was young 20 something, and she knocks on the door. She's boom, right in front. But the whole husband thing was like, I don't know if they were like swingers. I don't know, but I wanted a cleaning lady, so I said no.
So here's the thing: I would never hire a topless maid, because if you're gonna get a topless maid, you're gonna get a hot one, right? Hot chicks' houses are messes most of the time. They're usually pigsties. There's like clothes and makeup everywhere. Why would you want that girl cleaning your plate? I mean, we've all been to hot girls' houses before. They live like fucking pigs usually. I don't want anything to do with that. If I want what I want an older lady who you can tell has had you have older lady who's had kids and grandkids, who's got experience, who's done deep cleans, who's cleaned cereal out of crevices and couches and shit. Guys, that's what I want.
This woman I have now, this cleaning lady, she's been my cleaning lady since this incident. These are the things I love about her. She plays a prayer radio, like during her cleaning. She's listening to like prayer services. And I remember when I first hired her, I did little things like I put streaks on the mirrors and wanted to see if she'd notice. Every little check mark I placed, she found. She's a gem, and she's the polar opposite of that other cuckoo nut.
Yo, so that's what I'm thinking, Will, is when you said what you want in a cleaning lady. I'm picturing every cleaning lady I've had, and in Chicago, the cleaning ladies are old Mexican women or old like Ukrainian Russian women. And I'm just like, yo, if they take their fucking sweatshirt off, I'm leaving the house and going to the coffee shop. But I have a friend, Nadu, this ties into you a little bit too. Not a friend, my business partner who lives in suburban Cleveland has an Amish cleaning lady.
Oh yeah, they're great as well.
This lady is a force of nature. She comes in like you. She has headphones, which at first I was blown away, but after talking to you and realizing that they're more hip to the times than we originally thought, I'm not surprised. She puts her headphones in and she bangs out this whole house. He has a big house too. This whole house in like an hour and a half. And he said before he found her, he would have a staff of like 2 women who were there for like 8 hours all day. This lady comes in, he said, does an even better job, and she's done in like an hour and a half.
This summer, I have some ideas. I'm going to do some content on Amish folks that I know. Like, they're some of the most efficient workers you'll see, like whether it's cleaning, building, cooking. Like,
I told you, best carpenters on the planet.
Yeah, no, they are. They'll raise a whole barn in 4 hours. It's crazy.
Fantastic pies. Some of the best pies you'll ever buy.
Whoopie pies, apple pie, whatever you want.
Yep.
They got.
That's funny. All right. After show, guys, have you been following the Disney boys down there and their escapades down in it's Disney World, right? Disney World's
I heard about this. I don't know too much about it, quite honestly. I guess they're all just fans of like Star Wars and stuff like that. Not my lane, to be honest. But hey, I never shoot down what people are interested in. Look, I like some weird shit, so I don't, really ever knock it. But I hope they have a good time. Looks like fun.
You guys both been to Disney?
Yes.
I've been to the one in California where I live. I've never been to the Florida one, no.
I went and I hated it because as a young 10-year-old, Dante, my mother and father would make me go to these stupid, dumb shows that I didn't want to go to. And why I didn't want to go, because Allen Iverson, when I was 10, had an incredible year. And I remember the one night I had to miss the game. He dropped 58 against the Orlando Magic. And I never felt the same way about Disney because I had to miss that game. My mother and father wouldn't let me stay back in the room and watch it. I'm 10 years old. I missed it. I hate Disney.
That's dedication to ball his life right there, if I've ever heard it. A 10-year-old kid pissed that he's at Disney because he didn't get to see AI in a game against Magic. I never got the chance to go to Disney as a kid. I went right after college with a girlfriend, and I totally got it. I was robbed. I was robbed of my childhood. I didn't get to come here as a kid. It is fucking the best place on earth.
Really?
The best place on earth. It's magical.
Everybody's so happy, and you never see a picture of anybody upset down there either. So
dude, every blade of grass is meticulously taken care of. It's the cleanest place. It's run like a fucking
It
machine.
should be with what they charge.
I agree, but it's incredible. Every single detail is absolutely incredible.
What's a week run you to go there? Like what is a week run? So you're hotel all in, hotel everything. What do you think it costs?
It is not cheap.
Probably $10K.
I know that.
Woo!
Probably.
For 2 people.
You know how many topless maids you can get for that money?
Yeah, absolutely. You know how many games you can bet responsibly with that kind of money? By the way, guys, after show, quick topic. I just want to disavow this. Did you guys see the cartel video of the guy wearing a Barstool hoodie?
The brand is strong, man.
What's up with that?
Disavowed, but the brand is strong.
Dude, I'm doing my intel. Every morning I go on and look at these videos. What's going on down there? And I see this video, which I got to be honest, I think they're pretenders. I don't actually think they're in the group. But yeah, I see the store.
They look pretty legit to me.
Is that a fucking Barstool logo? I'm thinking, I'm like, what hoodie is that they're wearing? Like,
I have a couple guesses here.
Okay, what do you got?
It is March. Everybody catches the madness. It could be a make your free throws hoodie. He could be
positive vibes only, maybe.
Positive vibes only could be that, or maybe for you to do it could be a Philly. No one likes us. We don't care. He's ignoring the Philly part. He's just focusing on the slogan on the back. I disavow it, but it could be the case.
I saw Quiggs, who's very funny. He posted some funny shit. He posted, I guess you can like design your own Barstool sweatshirt. And it says Saturday or for the cartel.
Disavow, though.
We absolutely disavow. It was a wild thing to see, though. Just random stumble upon type of thing.
I know you texted it, and I saw the thumbnail, and I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be some fucked up person getting their head chopped off or something. I don't even want to open it.
No,
I saw you guys laughing about it, so I was like, all right, I'll watch it. I did not expect.
Random thing.
That's funny.
A good catch by you, Nadu, though. That's a good catch. I would not have caught that.
Wholeheartedly disavow, though. Also, shout out to PMT. They had Kevin Stefanski on today. They made my coach actually look like a human being for once. So shout out to those guys. They had him laughing and joking around. I'm convinced he's a closet stoolie. He was way too into the bits. way too down with the whole thing. Stefanski's usually a complete robot. Half the people here in Cleveland hate his guts.
Maybe he's a big Will Burge fan, possibly. You never know. He's probably reading your blogs. If we can plug, KB No Swags on the sit down. We talked about the Murdals, who are very similar to a mafia family. If we actually think about it, Tony Soprano and Murdahl are very similar people.
The Ginger Mafia.
Yo, I watched that documentary and was fucking floored at how
the craziest story I've ever heard.
Bro, that family had so much power. It's fucking crazy.
And real quick, we talked about this in the show. The great grandfather, the guy that started all the lawyer stuff, he was like mysteriously killed in 1940. Died supposedly or killed, and his like car just like stopped on the tracks, and that was that. This family has like some wild shit even back then. So yeah,
I'm not surprised. Watching all these people in the documentary be like, yeah, we don't know if we really want to talk about this. We're afraid for our
safety. Make people disappear.
It's wild. That's big fish in a small. Yeah, it's big fish in a small pond stuff too. So not only they have that mafia power, but people know there's no place else to go. They are so ingrained in law enforcement and everything else. I took one look at that family picture when that documentary came on. I was like, guilty. I know it.
Well, there's one person in the family that's not dead or in prison at this point, but maybe could be at some point. We don't know.
Why was KB so knowledgeable on them? What he knows.
He's like big into true crime, which I didn't know. Like he told me that he had just like gotten into it over COVID or something. And I've been trying to get him on for a while, and it was going to be kind of crazy because he's, a comedian. He's never really been in that kind of serious type of thing, but he did a good job. He had some funny jokes. He just knows a ton about that case and some other big ones. So it was cool. We kicked around some theories and it was a good time.
He is an enigma, man. The more I learn about that guy, he is he's just a ball of surprises. So he followed up your girl, Rochelle Ryan. I saw it.
Yeah, I had Rochelle on yesterday. It's just kind of a fun YouTube video. It's funny because most of my audience on YouTube is 45 years old or older, and they all are like don't understand why I would have a porn star on my show. But then a lot of the younger kids are like, "Holy shit, Rochelle Ryan, I love her." So it was fun. She's a great girl.
I think they're all going to be very aware of who she is. Let's not kid ourselves.
No, I know. I'm sure they
might pretend, but they know damn well who that is.
What did you guys talk about?
So we just talked about like if she would ever date a gangster. We rated mobsters from history. She kind of gave her thoughts.
Nice.
It just is a fun thing. I might do that with a couple of different porn stars because Nadu is turned in with all the hot women. So,
Dante, you got anything to pimp before we get out of here?
Oh man, you guys did enough sucking my dick when this thing started. I feel I'm embarrassed enough already. This was fun though.
Yeah, it was fun. Guys. Yeah, good times. That's the rundown.